YouTube? Welcome to my very first thought dump video here. Obviously, this one's going to be edited to save time, but what I really think that's interesting about this is that this definitely touches on my beliefs because I do have when I was since born at a very young age, Captain Obvious moment right there. I've always had an interest in being a very quiet person and learning about the universe. And when it comes to my belief chat, I think that there are many universes out there where there are separate outcomes of me. There are so many different outcomes of me out there that exist. There are so many different situations, different outcomes, or maybe there's a universe out there where I just moved ever so slightly to the right when I was walking, like 6 years old. I believe that in the multiverse that there are a lot of universes out there that exists of me having different outcomes. And how this touches here is that this is an extrapolation, no, extrapolation of the many worlds interpretation. This means that any decision, I believe this touches into quantum mechanics. So let's say that we're given the choice of, do we want to go to McDonald's or do you want to go to Wendy's? There's a decision out there where, let's say I end up choosing McDonald's. There's a division, the decision out there. There's a alternate reality where the universe branches out into me choosing Wendy's instead. And how this is an extrapolation of this is that from simple atom-like states to complete decisions, what I really think is interesting about this is that in the universe out there, there are many different outcomes. You see, there is an outcome out there where I just became a YouTuber without creating this channel. There's an outcome out there where I just became like the stereotypical same YouTuber that does like content without showing any personal stuff of theirs, which is understandable. Obviously, I'd understand if I did that in a different universe, but what I'd like to know, uh, take like great interest in this, is that there are many different worlds where I'm like number one, a failure, and number two, a successful person, or number three, maybe in the middle. What I really like to think about this is that to think about all of the possible outcomes. What if, when it comes to the all the worlds theory, I like to sometimes think that, what if one of my online friends, what if I lived near their house? What happened if my childhood was near their place? What if I grew up with them instead of simply being an online person as it is in this universe? Maybe in a different universe, what if I did become a really giant successful YouTuber at like a young age? What if I became like a successful businessman or something? What if I did end up getting a girlfriend at the age of uh 12? Which probably I never got at all, but there's the universe out there that exists, obviously, but what if all of these outcomes out there simply because of the many worlds interpretation? What if there are many outcomes out there that do exist, and these realities exist regardless of our recognition? That's what I like to believe out there, is that I do believe that there is a multiverse and that we do live in not just one universe but many universes. And I also like to believe that there are beings between that inhabit the space between the universes. This is what I call the interdimensional space. All right, this is a space between universes. I think that there are beings that exist there to regulate the universe. Obviously, they don't care what I'm saying right now. People don't really care. People don't really care when it comes to these types of theories, but what's kind of intrigues me is that I believe that these beings only come and help only if there's some sort of trouble going on. Like, let's say that there's two universes colliding together. One is an erratic universe and one is like a stable universe. I think what they do, they split the universes apart, definitely try to stop it from happening, and that's when I think that they'd only intervene. Right now, chat, I believe that they are really indifferent to what happens in each universe. Like, they don't care if this type of star in that universe gets sucked over by a black hole. They don't really care. They only care if this ability is kind of like ruined or something like that. They only care if there's a lot of trouble that happens, for that matter. And what I would like to believe about this is that when it comes to the universe without the beings, I think that the beings are incomprehensible. We will never know what they truly are. We will never know what they are as a person because they're incomprehensible. We don't know who they are. But I would like to believe is that with the many worlds interpretation, not just through quantum mechanics or simple decision making, I think entire universes can completely branch off. Let's say I make this decision to go to YouTube or not to go to YouTube. Out there is a version of me in a whole different universe where I'm just like a regular high school boy that doesn't do YouTube at all, doesn't have like a voice online, where I just kind of fit in, maybe get a GF or something. and what, like kiss her all day, maybe during like lunch or something. But that's something that I wish I would do, but I can't because number one, I'd be under a lot of scrutiny, and number two, there'd be people that would be mocking me, and number three, I don't really like public affection. It's really up to them. But what I like to think about is that there are many worlds out there that exist. I also like to think, what if in an alternate universe I grew up with someone who grew up with an online friend? Let's say there's one online friend that I have. I have like a few online friends, but well, what happens if I grew up with them as a person? What if I grew up during their timeline? What if our ages are similar enough? Then what if I grew up near their home? What would happen if it happened if this friendship was interdependent? What would happen if it was not dependent on any online stuff and everything just so happened to be together? And I really like this idea. Is that because this is another yet again another extrapolation of the many worlds interpretation? Obviously, my mom could have chosen to move away into a neighborhood that just slightly was near my online friend's house. Maybe when I was like 0 years old, they were 0 years old. Maybe we ended up growing together. And I think that's one key of the many worlds interpretation is that there are infinite possibilities. Not just me in a universe where I just move ever so slightly to the right while I'm walking in a given direction. I think that there are many places in the universe where I am ever so slightly different, and I like to believe that these universes are completely real in their own sense. They don't care if we recognize them. They don't care about external recognition. They don't care about this kind of solipsism where you recognize something and it exists. They don't care. They're going to simply follow their own structure of rules. They're going to follow how their own universe goes. They're going to follow simply through the randomness of their own structure. They don't care about recognition. They don't care about interuniversal recognition where I recognize them that they exist. I don't. I kind of believe, I do absolutely believe something like that, is that there are universes out there that, not believe, there are universes out there that exist and follow their own structure. They don't care if we recognize them at all. Think of this, some random tree in the sequoia forest, and I haven't seen it, I haven't, seen it as it is. Obviously, it exists out there. I've never touched it, I've never seen it, I've never cut it down. Or I've never seen it at all. But does it exist? Does it follow its own order of tree growth? Yes, it does. This also adds to my theory of the many worlds interpretation, is that some things in the universe will exist whether we recognize them or not. They do not care about recognition. They do not care about anything, especially with universes out there where I'm just ever so slightly different. Let's say that my fan base is ever so slightly different. There are universes out there that exist. There are also universes out there where I take a more conservative stances. There are universes out there where I take more traditional stances. There are universes out there where I take more where I kind of believe that simplistic binary of right or wrong in many situations, even though that's kind of flawed. But I'm going to speak about it in a different video. It really depends on the context. But I definitely believe that there are many different versions of me. There are many different versions of me, one where I did end up growing up with an online friend. There are many different versions of me, number two, where I never did YouTube at all. There are many different versions of me, number three, where I never played Roblox or Minecraft, which that would be such a disgrace if that ever happened. But thankfully I am a Minecraft player today, chat, so woohoo, yeah. But there are many different outcomes. Alright, there's one where I ended up growing up with someone, and there's one where it never happened at all. There's one where just like there's one universe out there where I'm like a chill guy. I don't really do much. I didn't even do YouTube. I lived like a chill life. Maybe had a wife and kids, and then died away. Obviously, without YouTube and all that stuff. Obviously, there's a life that I live out there, out somewhere in the multiverse. There's somewhere out there where I move the remote just ever so slightly to the right, and then everything else goes the same. When I do YouTube and all that stuff, there's a universe out there that also exists, and that's the infinite amount of universes out there that exist for even for me. That's what I like. Is that I do like to imagine. It's probably just putting me into a dream. There's universes out there, and there's still a CEO of some sort of lemon company. There's one out there where I become like a marketing agent. There's one out there where I become like what do you call this? Like an astronaut or something. There's one out there where I become like where I end up becoming friends with someone who's from a completely different culture. There's one out there where I end up dating someone from a different culture. Like there's probably one universe out there where I'm like a rainbow. Well, we can literally track anyone's location and completely multi-fluent in like 500 different languages. which does allow me the ability to interdate. And what I call this, I'm probably gonna coin this term. I don't know if it already exists before me. To interdate is to date someone of different cultures. All right, that just to make sure that one. Well, what I really like to think about this is that there are very infinite outcomes of me. There are some places where it is a complete failure. Maybe I didn't end up graduating college. Maybe I didn't end up graduating trade school. Maybe I ended up not learning how to drive at all because maybe because of this or that. Maybe really going to not really gonna affect me into universally in completely different universes for that matter. But again, not an excuse to justify terrible behavior. Alright? But that's what I like to wonder. If I've been successful in other universes, if I've been like a successful boy, maybe I became like a man and wife with kids, maybe like a CEO of some sort of company. What would happen? What's going to happen in this universe? That's why I really like to wonder here. What would happen in this universe where I make the decisions as it is? What would happen in this universe where I take stances on issues, where I willingly put myself on the risk of backlash, put myself on the risk of being made fun of or being harassed by other people online, even simply because of my online presence? What would happen contrasted to a universe where I didn't do anything at all? Maybe I just became like a CEO later in life. I wonder what's going to happen in this universe. I wonder what's going to go on for that matter. I wonder what's because if I know that I may have been existentially successful in other universes, maybe I did end up making a lot of friends. Maybe I did end up making making friends with a girlfriend or something like no, I was like early freshman year. I'm still like a freshman right now. Maybe I did end up getting a girlfriend at this age in a completely different universe. I wonder what would happen in this one. What is this outcome here? All right, especially with the many worlds interpretation. If uh if all of my decisions have been made in other universes, then what is this one going to be about? If obviously each universe is going to branch off into its own existence reality, whether it cares about recognition or not, what's going to happen in this one? And that's what I like to think sometimes when it comes to it. Obviously, chat something like that. Once a whole different parallel universe is created, I believe that this universe is real within its own sense. It doesn't care about a recognition. It doesn't care about if you recognize it or not as real. It's that going to follow its own structure. It's going to follow as it is. Even that my version in that universe is probably not even going to recognize me because that's like inter-universal stuff. They probably don't. They uh like universal me in a whole different universe. So I'm just focused on high school. He probably doesn't recognize me right now since he probably can't grasp that idea. But that idea is I think that there are too many infinite outcomes that could happen. Not an excuse to justify terrible behavior, Chad. Obviously not. I will not treat people terribly in this universe just because I treat others good in the other. No, 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 no. Not an excuse. Existential reality is not an excuse to justify terrible behavior. Let me make that so clear. That's what I like to think though. In the many worlds interpretation is that ultimately this won't really mean anything, but in the other universes, there are so many different outcomes, many like thousands and thousands of different outcomes, even if it's slight, even if it's an atom in a building that ever changes so slightly. And also, when it comes to it again, sorry, Chad, I'm just looking at my phone because I'm at a timer right now. But what I also like to believe is that as that universe exists within its own reality, it follows its own structure. Think of that one random tree in the sequoia forest that I don't even know at all. It still exists because it's still following its own structure of cycle, of its life cycle, growing and producing leaves. What would happen? I wonder what's in the other universes about me. All right. I wonder what's going to happen into this one, but I wonder about the other simple endings of the other universes too. Maybe I did become a successful boy. Maybe I did become like a very happy boy for that matter, with a very happy girlfriend. And in this universe, I really wonder what's going to happen in this one. What type of outcome is this one going to enlarge in about me? Happen now that I am doing YouTube and putting myself online. I wonder what type of outcome I'm going to put myself into now. I wonder what type of out of all the infinite fractals out there in the universe, all of the infinite versions out there in the universe, I wonder what would happen in this one. What's going to happen in this universe? That's my question. Existential question to myself that I'm going to give.